Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing the Start 11 show for our midweek trip to West London to face Brentford. So let's get straight into it with the Start 11 show. I'll start in goal. It's probably the easiest position on the pitch to predict for David Moyes, and it's Jordan Pickford to keep his place in goal. I thought he played really well against Manchester United. People were questioning his positioning for the first goal for Man U, but I think he made some really crucial saves at really crucial moments in that game. The one for Bruno Fernandes, which he tipped over the bar, springs to mind. But Brentford are a top side going forward with the likes of Visser and Burmo. So, if called upon, I think we're going to need Pickford to be on top form in this game. But as I said, probably the easiest one to predict for David Moyes. But we'll go into the back four now, and I think Vitaly Mykolenko will keep his place at left back. For me, he's been so solid for David Moyes since he came in. He's really turned a corner under Sean Dyche. He did look like a rabbit in the headlights at times. He looks like he was getting caught out of position. He didn't really know what he was doing going forward. So I think David Moyes coming in for Vitaly Mykolenko has been a real breath of fresh air for his form, and every credit to him because he stuck at it and really turned his form around. So every credit to him. But moving into the two centre halves, I think Branthwaite and Tarkowski is probably the easiest one to predict as well. Branthwaite is an absolute Rolls Royce of a centre half. We know that. We have to talk about that backwards header against Manchester United, the one that the player was in behind for Man U, and he just backwards headed it to Jordan Pickford. That just shows the amount of class and the amount of talent that boy has. And then James Tarkowski as well on his day as a top defender. We know that we need the James Tarkowski of the Merseyside derby and not the one of the Bournemouth FA Cup game. But as I said before, they're just a top partnership, and they're just such a strength towards having them at the back. But then moving into right back, Jake O'Brien I think will keep his place. I refuse to believe he wasn't good enough to be a Premier League player under Sean Dyche. Whatever went on there, I don't think we'll ever find out. But Jake O'Brien, since he's come in, has been absolutely fantastic. He's really solved that fullback issue, which was in January it was a massive issue fullback for us, with obviously Nathan Patterson recovering from a long-term injury, Ashley Young getting towards 40, Seamus Coleman getting towards his late 30s. These are two aging fullbacks, and Nathan Patterson who can't stay fit. It was a real issue going into January without a right back. But Jake O'Brien's come into that role, the Joleon Lescott role. I've coined it in recent starting 11 shows, and he's just a top player. Moyes really, clearly trusts him. So every credit to him, and hopefully he can go from strength to strength with his form. But that completes the back four. We'll go into the midfield now. I think a lot of people will be unsurprised, and my predictions for David Moyes' midfield. I'm going to go with James Garner and Idrissa Gana Gueye as the partnership. James Garner, for me, I think he's a real unsung hero in this Everton team. I think we don't realise how much he does for the team until he actually drops out of it through injury or suspension or whatever. Because James Garner, for me, I think is a proper David Moyes player. He's so dependable. He's become really dependable, obviously, under David Moyes, but I think even under Sean Dyche, I think he showed signs of that. And he's just a solid Premier League player, which you don't really realise that the attributes and the positives that he brings to a side until he actually leaves the side. So every credit to him. But Idrissa Gana Gueye, also his partner, he's just aged like a fine wine. Idrissa Gana Gueye, hasn't he? He's absolutely fantastic. I think he was top once again against Manchester United. And again, as I said with James Garner, he seems to be a dependable figure in midfield. So I think seeing them form a partnership like Aurel Mangala and Idrissa Gana Gueye we're beginning to form, I think is really positive for us, and gives us a bit of stability in that midfield. But moving a little bit further forward, obviously the big debate in the run up to the Manchester United game was, would it be Abdoulaye Doucouré coming back for his suspension, or would it be Carlos Alcaraz? I think David Moyes will go for Abdoulaye Doucouré once again. He really does set a good structure, Abdoulaye Doucouré. What he lacks in ability on the ball and chance creation, I think he makes up for it in his structure and his ability to lead the press as a unit. I think against Manchester United, I think it was on Match of the Day where they showed Everton pressing as a unit going forward and really coming on to Manchester United. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré is the real figurehead and the centrepiece around that, because he sets that structure and really sets the press very well. So I can see why Moyes trusts him, as Sean Dyche did during his tenure. I can see why Abdoulaye Doucouré is trusted by David Moyes, and I'm kind of sympathetic with Moyes that a lot of people did want Alcaraz to remain in the team, but I can see why the reasons that Moyes is keeping Abdoulaye Doucouré in there, maybe using Alcaraz as more of an impact substitution rather than a player that starts from the start. But I do think Abdoulaye Doucouré will keep his place for David Moyes' side on Wednesday evening. But that completes the midfield. We'll move into the front three now, and I think Jack Harrison will keep his place off the left hand side. Obviously, I don't think he was the greatest against Manchester United. It's just where we are in terms of injuries at the moment. Jack Harrison will have to start on Wednesday evening. There's no denying that. But as I said before, I don't think he had the greatest of performances against United in an Everton shirt, but I also don't think he had one of his worst performances. So again, we just need to see him create a little bit more. I think he does look like a player that's a little bit low on confidence. You rarely see him get the ball at his feet and take on a man. It's usually he turns back and finds a fullback or finds a midfielder. So, just the thing for me, I think if that goal went in, the one that bounced off Onana's head, and obviously Abdoulaye Doucouré tapped it home for 2-0 against Manchester United. I think if that Jack Harrison chance goes in, I think he would have gained a little bit more of a confidence boost and gone into this game with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to try and prove people wrong once again. But we just need to see a little bit more from him, creating a little bit more chances and hopefully just, getting through the game with maybe an assist or something like that. But I do think we do need to see more from Jack Harrison. But then moving to the right hand side, people will argue we need to see more from this player also. I think Jesper Lindstrom will keep his place on that right hand side. Obviously, he was withdrawn from the Manchester United game on about 60 minutes. And David Moyes after the game did confirm this was due to illness. I think he's now fully recovered from this. So again, I'd just love to see him get that first goal. I've said it so many times, and I think we've been saying it since August that we'd love to see him get a goal in an Everton shirt. But I think he's working so hard, and it seems to be a similar type of player to Abdoulaye Doucouré that once he does exit the team and we move to Ashley Young at right wing, for example, I think we seem to lose that little bit of structure and that little bit of outlet. So yes, Lindstrom has proven that he is integral to this team and integral to David Moyes' setup. But again, I said it so many times. Fingers crossed he can just get that goal and get it on the score sheet and get it over his get that first goal over his shoulder and get it out of the way, because I think it is clearly been a burden on him and all the players and various social media comments. I think Illiman and Jai has also mentioned it in his Instagram comments that they all want to see him score, so it does seem to be like a little bit of a running joke and a burden on him. So fingers crossed he can get that goal on Wednesday and get it over the line. But moving into the striker, I think everyone knows who I'm going to predict for David Moyes in this one. I think it's going to be Beto to keep his chance. Obviously he's banging form. So happy for the lad because he's had such a torrid time at Everton. He's had it so difficult. So, I'm hoping now he can make it 5 straight appearances where he finds the score sheet. But obviously, I do think Beto will keep his place in this one. So that is all for the starting 11. I'll just run through it one more time. So it's Jordan Pickford in goal, Vitaly Mikolenko, Jared Branthwaite, James Tarkowski, and Jake O'Brien as your back four. Idrissa Gana Gueye, James Garner, and Abdoulaye Doucouré as your midfield. Jack Harrison off the left, Jesper Lindstrom off the right, and Beto as the lone striker. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this starting 11 and our chances against Brentford on Wednesday night. Obviously, it's going to be a tough game, a very tough place to go is the GTEC Community Stadium. But let me know all your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.